Please welcome to the stage the chair of the Kane County Democratic Party and the president of the IDCCA, Mark Gately.
Jasmine, that was wonderful. Awesome job. And I want to thank Dan Kovatz and all the staff at IDCCA for putting on such a huge event. The largest event ever is today, thanks to the staff, and thank you all for being here today. Good morning, Democrats. All right. I'd like to recognize Senator Durbin for his years of dedicated support. Yes, please, please. Thank you for that. Senator Durbin's support for the Illinois citizens extend from serving as the second highest member of the United States Senate down to campaigning for state, local officials. And even down to the municipal level, I can personally attest to that. He served as our conduit so our voices could be heard at the highest levels of government. His integrity, his dedication to the citizens of Illinois, and the entire nation for that matter, will not be forgotten. Thank you, Senator Durbin. Thank you. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for your continued partnership. Thank you to Illinois Democratic Party Chair Lisa Hernandez for your collaboration with IDCCA. Thank you to organized labor for your unwavering support. The bond between organized labor and the Democratic Party has remained unbroken since the days of FDR. So thank you. If you're union members, stand up, please. Thank you. And thank you to all our county chairs and distinguished speakers. Today, you're going to hear from our outstanding statewide elected officials, as well as our keynote speaker, the ever-persistent Senator Elizabeth Warren. This year's Democratic ticket is composed of some of the most capable and qualified candidates ever assembled here in Illinois. We are facing an administration that has struggled with effectiveness and has been clouded by allegations of corruption, and that's putting it lightly. Americans continue to deal with rising costs created by illegal and unprecedented tariffs, an unwinnable war, and mismanagement of government across the board. Although President Trump's personal wealth has grown by billions, yes. Voters are unhappy. We're financially strapped and they want to change. The issues are on our side this election cycle. Last month, the economy lost jobs, unemployment rose, and inflation continues to increase. Conversely, here in Illinois, Democrats have delivered a higher minimum wage, protections of workers' rights, provided health care relief, and lowered prescription drug costs. Thanks to the Democrats. Make no mistake, Trump and the MAGA supporters will try to divide us and shift the attention to a variety of issues instead of running on a record of accomplishments. Instead of responsibly serving the needs of their constituents, they have spent their time irresponsibly going after witch hunts to discredit those who confront their incompetence and dishonesty. With 76 days left until the election, we need all hands on deck, everybody in this room and beyond. Choose a campaign to work on. If you're unsure of what to do, where to go to idcca.org and we'll set you up, okay? That means everyone on one page or one family. We're the Democratic Party of Illinois. It's our time. Let's work together. Let's get out the vote and on to victory in November. Thank you. Enjoy the brunch.
He stands tall for Illinois. Please welcome our State Treasurer, Mike Frericks.
Good morning, Democrats. It was 28 years ago that I attended my first chairman's breakfast here in Springfield. It was a little bit of a smaller crowd. But I can tell you, I don't think I could imagine at that point that 28 years later I'd be standing on this stage as your state treasurer. Not a lot of people would have imagined that. I was a candidate for state representative. I was 24 years old. I was running against a 22-year incumbent in a Republican district. And I called a lot of people and asked for help. A lot of calls went unreturned. But there was one person who returned my call. It was our junior senator from Illinois, Dick Durbin. And not only did he answer my call, he showed up and headlined a fundraiser in Philo, Illinois, center of the universe. He came back again and helped me to get press at the Crisis Nursery Center. But I think more importantly, when I lost that election, he wrote a handwritten note saying, I followed your campaign. I thought you did a great job. I think you should stick with it. I lost my first 3 elections. I don't think I would be here today. It'd be very easy to give up after having lost if Senator Durbin hadn't taken the time to encourage me, hadn't taken the time to mentor young people. And my story is not unique. He has done this with countless Democrats throughout the state of Illinois. And so will you join me in the first round of applause for U.S. Senator Dick Durbin. Get used to it. There'll be more. Yes. For those of you who are in the back, you can't see, he was pointing at Loretta Durbin. Because the senator knows none of us accomplish all this ourselves. I've got a great team. He has a great team. It starts with your family as well. But I also want to give a shout out to one member of that team who is not here today, who has put an awful lot into this organization. Bill Houlihan has given and sacrificed for a lot of people here in this room, and he's going through a tough time right now. And so thank you for acknowledging Bill. I'm also excited to be sharing the stage today with Senator Elizabeth Warren. It was 7 years ago, I was one of the first statewide officials in this country to endorse her candidacy for president. I was her state director for Illinois. I was impressed with the work she did as a U.S. Senator, but I was impressed with the work she did before she was in the U.S. Senate, setting up the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. She's someone who is looking out for those who have been preyed upon. Unfortunately, our commander-in-chief has destroyed that organization. I think he's fine to let big corporations prey upon consumers because that is how he has built his business and his wealth over the years, by preying on consumers and vulnerable people. It is enough to get one depressed. It's enough to make someone angry. I might say some people in this room might be a little pissed off. Yes? But we are here today to channel that anger to productive uses. I tell people when they say, how can you be positive with all that's going on in Washington, D.C.? I said, we can't solve all the problems with this Cheeto president, but that doesn't mean we can't be part of the solution. So in the Treasurer's office, when I see him attack the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, we step up with our unclaimed property. We fight life insurance companies that are pocketing money for their CEOs that should be going to widows and orphans. Every day we were in office, we returned about $1 million to consumers here in this state. When Republicans drop the ball, Illinois Democrats pick it up and run with it. When folks in D.C. pass a bipartisan housing bill to help build more housing, and Trump, in a fit of pique, decides to veto it because Congress won't take away your right to vote, we stand up. We are working with the AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust, investing our dollars into building more housing here in Illinois. When Republicans fail, Illinois Democrats lead. When Republicans cut funding for SNAP, we set up our charitable trust grant program, helping smaller nonprofits help our neighbors in need. And we also passed legislation this year, signed by Governor Pritzker, passed by the General Assembly, allowing us to help those small nonprofits invest and make more money so they can make a bigger difference in our communities. Because when Republicans fail people, Illinois Democrats lead. In the first Trump administration, it was like every week they would announce this is infrastructure week. And every week, nothing would happen. Here in Illinois, we passed an infrastructure investment fund. First treasury in the nation to do this. And the very first investment we made was with ULICO, the Union Labor Life Insurance Company. Because if they fail in Washington, D.C. to rebuild our country, who's going to lead? Illinois Democrats. We could go through any number of examples out there. But unfortunately, we have so many good Democrats here that we need to limit our remarks. So I'm going to tell you, we're going to keep leading here in Illinois. We are not done improving. We're not done picking up the balls that they drop and running them into the end zone. But if you're wondering what you can do, you might not be a state treasurer. You may not have the team I have, but everyone in this room can do something to make life better. If you want to make life better for your fellow Illinoisans, if you want to make life better for Americans, there's a great political philosopher, Elizabeth Warren, who had some advice. She said, I have a plan for that. Well, I have a plan for that. The plan is elect more Democrats. Send more Democrats back to Congress. Send them to the Senate. Send people who are going to fight. If we do that, we will have a better future. Thank you, Democrats, for being part of that.
Please welcome to the stage the 10th and current Comptroller of the State of Illinois, Susana Mendoza.
Good morning, Democrats. How y'all doing? Come on, let's hear you. I know it's 9:15, but you can do better. I want to start by getting everybody excited and riled up, and I'm going to follow a page out of our awesome Treasurer Mike Freric's playbook, and that is to give recognition where it's absolutely due today, and that's to our Senator Dick Durbin. Where's Senator Durbin? Because I can't see him. There you are. Please, everybody up. Let's get up. He deserves that. Thank you, Senator, for your unwavering support and commitment to our state. You're amazing. Thank you. As a daughter of Mexican immigrants, I can't thank you enough for the work that you've done for our dreamers here in the state of Illinois. I remember when I felt like I was just a kid, and I met you, and you were fighting on the front lines and have never ceded an inch since. Thank you so much. There's so many kids who are now adults, who are contributors to our state, to our economy, in every possible space you can imagine, and you left an indelible fingerprint on them. Thank you so much, Senator Durbin. And thank you to each and every one of you. All our Democratic county chairs, if you could each individually stand up, I'd really appreciate it. Please stand up and be recognized. Yeah, look around, everybody. This is our team for democracy. I want to thank each and every one of you and those who may not even be in this room, but who at some point or another stepped up to support this kid, this girl from Little Village, from Chicago, who you embraced, my cowboy boots and all. And from the first minute when I called around and asked people for support back in 2015, when we were under existential threat, with a governor who was hell-bent on destroying our brothers and sisters in organized labor, who was hell-bent on destroying the state of Illinois' finances. We had never experienced anything like that. A governor, even though he was from a different party, we've had governors of different parties, and they haven't purposely tried to tank our state's finances and break our state. But our spirits would never be broken, and everybody rallied behind this girl from Little Village in Chicago and helped propel me to the office of controller, where with your support and your trust, through your votes, I've helped take our state out of financial collapse. And I am so proud of the work my team and I have done delivering for all of you and our state. Just for a quick recap, I walked into that nightmare on December 5th of 2016, a 210 business day delay on paying our vendors, whether they were nursing homes, hospice care, people treating our children who had disabilities. 210 days they were made to wait, on average, to get paid. Well, with your help and your support through your votes, I have taken that bill payment cycle down from 210 horrific days to my oldest bill being 13 days old for the last 5 years straight. Because when you say you're pro-business, that means businesses have to get paid on time. When you say you care about the vulnerable, that means the providers need to be paid on time. And that is the type of work that this Office of Controller has done with myself and my team at the helm, but that is only possible because of each and every one of you. What else? I had an almost $17 billion backlog of unpaid bills. And in my first 2 years, actually my first year, I chopped $9 billion off of that bill backlog. Fighting Bruce Rauner tooth and nail. Every time he'd punch down, I would metaphorically kick him in the you-know-where. Yeah, because that's the job you sent me to do. And collectively, together, we took him down, and then we're able to elect our next governor, a great governor, J.B. Pritzker. We did that together. And I've taken our bill backlog from $17 billion to non-existent. I paid it down over 5 years ago before getting a penny of federal ARPA or stimulus dollars in the door. That's what Democrats do when you put us in charge. So no more bill backlog, the fastest vendor payment cycle in decades. And we took that $48,000 rainy day fund, which, by the way, wasn't enough to cover 30 seconds worth of government operations. And we now have a rainy day fund, historic high, $2.5 billion and growing. And while these accomplishments are awesome, I'm going to tell you something. It's bittersweet to be here today. Because as you know, this will be the last time that I'm here before you saying thank you. Thank you for your support over so many years now. I'm going to finish strong. Excuse me. I'm working so hard, I'm losing my voice. But I'm going to finish strong. I'm going all the way to that last day in January as your controller, making sure that our fiscal ship continues to move forward in the right direction. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me from the get-go. Thank you for being the wind behind my wings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really do truly love my job. And I love the people that I get to serve with. The people at the Comptroller's office are amazing public servants who deserve my praise and appreciation, and all of yours. They're incredible, and they're the best team in the state of Illinois, and I've been so lucky and blessed to get to serve alongside them. And I'm not running because, as you know, I am all in for Chicago. And not because I love Chicago more than the state of Illinois, but also because I love the entire state of Illinois so much. And you deserve a candidate who's going to be all in for the position that they're asking you to support them for, the statewide position. And I promise you that it's the next mayor of Chicago. This will be the first time that every single one of you in this room has a mayor who knows and loves the rest of the state of Illinois and understands that we are in this fight together. So thank you for your support. I'm running for mayor of Chicago, and I'm all in because I love you guys. And I want to make sure that our state continues to deliver at every level. Thank you for your support. I'm going to ask you one last time, do what you can to help me get there, but also, please, most importantly, keep me in your prayers, because I'm running on two things: faith, number one, and experience. Thank you. God bless you. And I'll see you around. Just maybe not on this stage. Thank you. Love you so much. Oh, and one last thing.
Please welcome to the stage,
yes,
State Representative and our next State Comptroller, Margaret Croak.
That's what I wanted to say, to please give her a big round of applause. This is her first time. She's a little nervous. Let's show her some big love. Thank you.
It's very surreal to see a table of people that I was campaigning with about 8 years ago when I was at my first brunch that are right in front. So I apologize, everyone, for the support. Also, I've got pockets, so I was able to hide my speech in there for a long time. Good morning, Democrats. Let's hear it again for Susana Mendoza. She has done amazing work for this state, and we have been lucky to have her. I'd like to just take a moment, though, to talk about our amazing senior senator, Dick Durbin. The amazing legacy you are leaving behind, not only for our state, but for our country. I went to my neighborhood park a couple weeks ago in Chicago, and I had my 3-year-old, and she was running around. She started playing with this little girl who was wearing a Duck Duck Durbin shirt, which, if anyone has extras of those, send them my way. And I said to her, I said, I love your T-shirt. It's amazing. And she's like, my grandpa is the senator. And I was like, oh, okay. And for the next 10 minutes, she was telling me how much she loves her grandpa, all the amazing things that she's gotten to do with him. And I got to tell her how I thought her grandma Loretta was really cool because of I Will. But it was that quiet moment where you realize that character is not just measured in votes or speeches. It's measured in when your grandkid is beaming and talking about how proud they are of you. So I just wanted to say thank you again for all that you have done. Clearly, there are many, many people proud to have been able to say that you were their senator. It is wonderful, though, to be with all of the people who make our party strong. Before there are television ads that are running constantly, there are emails clogging our inboxes, and don't even get me started on the text messages. iPhone has already created a whole thing for that. There are county chairs. There are volunteers who are knocking on doors, who are stuffing envelopes, who are making the calls, who are talking to their neighbors, just telling them that this election really does matter and they need to go out and vote. The victories we celebrate as Democrats begin and end with you all, the people in this room. It's because of your work that Illinois has showing the rest of the country what Democratic leadership looks like. While Republicans are busy manufacturing chaos because that's their favorite thing to do, Illinois Democrats have balanced budgets. We eliminated the bill backlog. We earned 10 credit upgrades. We raised wages and we invested in education, all while making sure that government works for working families. This is what it looks like when good people show up, do the work, and keep their promises. In other words, this is what it looks like when Democrats win. So, yes. We are on the verge of electing a new generation of leaders. I'm the mom of 3 kids, and every single day that I show up to work, I am thinking about the state that I will be leaving for them and every single child in Illinois, and we need more of that in Springfield. If elected, I'll be the only woman and the only mom in constitutional office, and I take that very, very seriously. As the moms love that. As your next comptroller, I will work every day to build our momentum and honor your trust. That means making sure Illinois pays its bills on time, manages taxpayer dollars responsibly, and invests in the things that matter. Here's how we'll do it. We'll modernize our... Hey, Rosalie. We'll modernize our tech so taxpayers, businesses, and nonprofits can track how state dollars move in real time. We'll simplify auditing for local governments so they can focus on serving their communities. We will continue to stand up for workers by enforcing prevailing wage laws and make sure contractors follow the rules before they get paid. We can do so much more to move us forward, but we absolutely cannot afford to go backwards. And that is exactly where my opponent and MAGA Republicans want to take us. With the chaos in Washington, they would love nothing more than to bring that to Illinois, and we cannot let them. Not on our watch. We're not going backwards. We're not giving up on our progress. We're ready to fight back and we're going to win, but it's going to take all of us. Let's elect Democrats from the courthouse to the state house. Let's re-elect Governor Pritzker and make one of my favorite people in this entire world, Christian Mitchell, our new lieutenant governor. From top to bottom, let's paint those ballots blue and let's keep moving Illinois forward. Thank you so much for everything you do. Now let's go win in November.
Please welcome to the stage the 38th Illinois Secretary of State, Alexi Janulius.
Well, good morning, Democrats. How are we doing today? There have been some long speeches today, so I'll try and be pretty brief. Let me begin by thanking Mark Gately, the County Chairman's Association, and everyone who worked so hard to put today's brunch together. To all the county chairs, I've made some very special friends over the years since I first got elected state treasurer in 2006. It was the county chairman that worked so hard on my behalf, that worked so hard for the Democratic Party, that worked so hard for working men and women that fight for our democracy, for our country, for our state, and for our planet. You're the reason that Illinois is so blue. We love all our county chairmen. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for fighting and working your asses off every single day. I also want to take a second to recognize the backbone of the Democratic Party, and that is our friends in organized labor. Our union friends, brothers and sisters, have fought for what has always made this the greatest country in the world, fighting for working families, for middle-class families, giving everyone a shot at the American dream. The Democratic Party would not be where we are today without organized labor, and our country would not be where we are and who we are without organized labor. So we applaud you. We thank you for being with us in the fight. Thank you for doing for everything that you do for the people of Illinois. And lastly, I want to thank someone who's been very special to me in my career in public office and outside of public office, someone who I care very deeply about, Senator Dick Durbin. Not only is he someone that I care about deeply, but he's someone who represents what it means to be a perfect public servant, someone who cares deeply, who serves with passion and compassion, someone who always fights for those who don't always have a voice, fighting for them, someone who has done it with dignity, with class, scandal-free leadership. Senator Durbin, I can't tell you how proud I am to call you my friend. I cannot tell you how proud I am to call you my senator, and I could not be more proud to tell my daughters that I look up to and I try to emulate Dick Durbin every single day. Let's have a loud round of applause for Senator Dick Durbin. It's great to start the day with people who know better than anyone else how we win elections in Illinois. We win because we organize, we knock doors, we make calls, and you show up in every county, every precinct, every day, even when there are Trump signs in people's lawns. You knock on those doors. Who the hell has a Trump sign on their door, on their lawn, by the way? And because of your work, Illinois is showing the country what democratic leadership looks like. While Donald Trump and Republicans in Washington are attacking our rights, raising costs, going to war and creating chaos, Democrats in Illinois are doing what government is supposed to do, delivering for working people. We've balanced budgets, raised the minimum wage, protected reproductive freedom, defended workers, invested in our schools, and stood up for every Illinoisan who deserves a government that is on their side. That's what I've tried to do every day as Secretary of State. When I ran for this office, I promised we would drag the Secretary of State's office into the 21st century. And Democrats, because of your help, we did it. We cut wait times at the DMV. We put more services online. We made it easier to get an appointment so you don't have to waste half your day in line. We stood up to book bans, protected the freedom to read. We protected our neighbors from ICE. We strengthened ethics and consumer protections. Not just because of all of you, but because we had a governor who was not afraid to engage in every single battle that he felt in his heart that we need. That's why we need to make sure we reelect Governor J.B. Pritzker and the entire ticket. We've also proved something else, that government can work. Democrats can make it work. And when we do, we make people's lives better and a little easier. But none of that happens without all of you. County chairs are the backbone of this party. You know that elections aren't won on cable news. They're won in union halls and church basements, on Sunday nights and Wednesday afternoons, at county fairs and front doors, one conversation, one volunteer, one sticker, one vote at a time. So as we head into this election, I'm asking you to do what Democrats in Illinois always do best: turn out every voter. And together, let's elect Democrats from the top to the bottom of the ticket. Let's protect everything we've built. Let's keep Illinois moving forward. And let's show Donald Trump and every Republican who wants to drag us backward that Illinois is and will remain a proud Democratic state. Thank you, Democrats. Let's go win.
Please welcome to the stage the 42nd Attorney General of the State of Illinois, Kwame Raoul.
Man, I'm a little upset. He had me follow biceps like that guy had. Senator Durbin, thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for, in 2008, inviting me to go with you and two other senators to Haiti. Thank you for your care for Haiti, and I ask all of you all to pray for Haiti and for the Haitian immigrants that have paid their dues and contributed to this country. And good morning, Democrats. Come on, you all went to too many receptions last night. Good morning, Democrats. You know, I'm really thankful, Mark Gately and county chairs, for you all to give me the opportunity to serve as a 42nd Attorney General. I can no longer say that I'm just getting started because we've done so much work since 2018. I'm truly proud to be in a position to utilize the rule of law as my sword and shield on behalf of Illinoisans. The rule of law prevents arbitrary abuse of power, ensures basic human rights, and establishes a stable framework for the operation of government to be applied equally to all, including the President of the United States. However, the rule of law doesn't do it on its own. It must be enforced. You know, it's great to be on the stage again. You know, I always do something silly. People who know me from back in the day at the Globe with Dan Berg knows I like to sing show tunes. A recent favorite is The Room Where It Happens from Hamilton. I gotta be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. All right, that's enough. I'm not stretching. See, you got to be able to enter the room where it happens, the courtroom, in order to enforce the rule of law and get consequential relief. I'm not a big fan of performative politics. The performative stuff has its role for social media, but true relief comes through us entering the courtroom for consequential relief. We fought Donald Trump's unlawful actions and protected over $10 billion of federal funding for our great state by entering the room where it happens. We entered the room where it happens to protect birthright citizenship, fight terrorists, and protect cancer research funds. We have used the rule of law on behalf of working families and organized labor to launch more than 100 workplace rights investigations and return more than $29 million in wages and restitution to Illinois workers. We have entered the room where it happens multiple times to successfully protect reproductive rights. And we've used the rule of law to fight PBMs that have inflated costs of prescription drugs, and we have thus far, we ain't done yet, brought back over $100 million as a result. And we have twice successfully defended the Trust Act in the Seventh Circuit. But perhaps my favorite occasion where we entered the room where it happens was to stop Donald Trump from unlawfully militarizing our streets with the National Guard. You know, in that case, Senator Durbin, the district court judge referenced the Federalist Papers 29, where the delegates were debating how much power to give the federal government over the state's militia. Some argue that we might have a situation one day where the militia of one state would be sent into another. And there was a guy who said, his name was Alexander Hamilton. He argued that's preposterous. That would never happen. Well, enter Donald Trump. Donald Trump proved him wrong by trying to send a Texas National Guard into the state of Illinois. Some may say don't mess with Texas, but we went all the way to the Supreme Court to tell Donald Trump, don't toy with Illinois. Yeah, rise up. Rise up against authoritarianism. Rise up for our Constitution. Rise up to fight, because when we fight, we win. Thank you, Democrats.
The internet can be a scary place.
So think about Americans' financial situation.
Full of lies.
It's in direct contrast to a Trump lawyer's claims that the future president and Epstein did not socialize together and were never really friends.
Ignorance.
I've been very outspoken about this. Climate change is a sham.
And delusion.
The man who once called this city a hellhole came to talk.
But through the noise.
Makes a pretty compelling case for why calling things out directly and clearly is really the only way to go.
There's hope.
No, this is up to us. It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division.
Are you ready for the fight? Are you ready for the fight?
Illinois Democrats are holding this administration accountable.
Why do you want to keep this secret? That's the kind of testimony you expect from this administration.
No, Donald J. Trump, the 5-time draft-dodging coward, enough.
We're ready to take our democracy back into our own hands. And courage will bring this fight straight to Donald Trump's door.
Chicago media reported that ICE and CBP agents had pepper sprayed a 1-year-old baby, shot at a pastor, harassed seniors, tased U.S. citizens, and even killed a person.
Donald Trump is not the only child predator who is being protected by every one of our Republican colleagues who refuses to do their goddamn job right now.
You're one of the worst attorney generals in our history.
Why would we appropriate more funding to a department that can't even tell us where the money's going? Enough is enough.
You lie and you lied to the American people. You lied on the record and you lied to members of this committee.
This administration isn't working on any of those things.
We filed our first lawsuit during the administration to protect birthright citizenship. I am a birthright citizen.
Illinois is leading the country in making health care affordable.
Is it still your position that a $900 billion reduction in federal Medicaid funding to states is not a cut?
That would only be a cut.
Totally unacceptable. Let's make health care available to the American people.
I think the question for the Republicans is going to be, when are you going to speak up?
Is the rent too damn high?
Protecting access to hospitals and health care in communities all across Illinois.
Across Illinois and across the country, home and auto insurance rates are out of control. That's why House Democrats passed major reforms to stop unfair insurance increases.
I don't see it coming from the President of the United States, the dumbest trade war in history.
Under every president, from every Republican president, the dollar has weakened.
Higher grocery prices are taxes on American families.
In spite of the differences between the two parties, let us never forget that there are still millions of people in this country who cannot afford to pay their rent.
This committee is taking a hatchet job to snap. Instead of passing a 5-year farm bill that will actually give rural Americans and our farmers what they need.
Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski delivering a federal check to the village of Brooklyn.
Well, this just represents so much fantastic opportunity here.
Part of the solution is helping families be able to pay their bills and to get their lives if they're showing up and doing their part by showing up to work.
And remember the words of our favorite son, Barack Obama. Don't give the kind of help that makes you feel good. Give the kind that hurts.
So I want to know, are you fired up? Ready to go?
Elections matter. Illinois Democrats are leading the country. Show up, vote, and make your voice heard.
Ain't nobody stopping me.
He's a former state representative, executive director of the Democratic Party of Illinois, and deputy governor. Soon we'll call him lieutenant governor. Please welcome Christian Mitchell.
All right. Now, I'm not going to sing because that'll end the brunch real early. Good morning, Illinois Democrats. All right, now Kwame told you, so now Kwame and I both come from the 4th Ward. We served under Tony Preckwinkle, so that's not going to work. Let's try it again. Good morning, Illinois Democrats. That's better. My name is Christian Mitchell, and it is the honor of my life to be running with Governor J.B. Pritzker as your Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor of the best state in the nation, Illinois. Before I go into my remarks, I want to take just 2 points of personal privilege. While I'm not going to sing, I do want to just say something really briefly about our Attorney General, Kwame Raoul. When you think about how our budget is balanced, when you think about the freedoms we have, when you think about what I signed up for as a member of the Illinois National Guard, what I know our great Senator Duckworth signed up for, it was to protect us from enemies foreign and domestic, to make sure that we were guarding our own citizens, to make sure that we were protecting ourselves from floods and fires. Kwame Raoul is the reason we still have that privilege here in the state of Illinois. And his work to protect our budget is an unheralded part of how we keep it balanced. So as he might say from his favorite musical, the man is nonstop, and we owe him for his work. But I also want to do, as we all are, just a few moments on our great Senator Dick Durbin. I want to start briefly with Loretta and everything she's done with I Will and the number of candidates we have running statewide because of your work. Loretta, thank you so much for everything that you've done. And like everyone else, I have a quick story about Senator Durbin. Back in 2014, I was a state representative running for re-election and the youngest member of the Illinois legislature. So it might surprise you to know that I didn't get many calls from statewide office holders. That's why I'll never forget the day that Senator Durbin called me to tell me that he would be endorsing my re-election campaign. He said it was because I was the first black representative to sponsor the marriage equality bill. Now, Senator Durbin's been a giant in Illinois for my whole life. Thank you. Senator Durbin has been a giant in Illinois for my entire life. So imagine what it meant to a baby state representative to see that legendary U.S. Senator had taken time not just to notice something that I had done, but to get my back during a tough re-election. But that's what Senator Durbin does. He fights for what he believes in, and he supports others who are fighting too, whether they're up-and-coming elected officials like the ones you've heard from today, or dreamers struggling for their right to share in the promise of America. In his decades of public service, he's represented our state well and made life better for people all across our country. Senator Durbin, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything. Let's give him a round of applause. And now to all the county chairs and to everyone here today, thank you. What you do is hard, it's often thankless, and it is absolutely essential. To every single person in this room, you have my sincere gratitude. Because while campaigns may be written in poetry, they are won with shoe leather. Everyone here has knocked doors, recruited volunteers, managed phone banks, literally pulled voters out of their homes, sports games, and yes, occasionally bars, to go out and vote. Your efforts have meant the difference between victory and defeat for Democrats up and down the ballot. Trust me, I know. Back in 2010, I got my start in politics working as a field organizer on campaigns for Democrats running statewide. And I witnessed how your labor helped us win races that all the experts said we were going to lose. You knew that talking to voters and getting them out to vote was the secret to how we win, because you, all of you, are our party's secret weapon. So as we get into polling and prognostication season, let the talking heads talk while you're on the ground getting it done, because we know that when the chips are down, you are the people that we count on. And you do the work because you know that campaigns matter. I do this for people like my mother, Debbie, a single mom and intensive care nurse who worked herself down to the bone and still had to rob Peter to pay Paul to make ends meet when illness struck her and struck our family. I do this for people like my grandfather, James Gist, an Army veteran and a steel worker who bought a house and built a life with an 8th grade education because he had a great union, the United Steelworkers, and still had to worry about, let's give USW a round of applause. But despite that, he still had to worry about paying his health care bills when he got sick. And while that's why I do this, we do this because we know that if we elect the right people to office, then we can make our families and our friends and our neighbors' lives better. Things don't get better just because we hope and dream for them. They get better because we do the work. So yes, the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice, but it bends because we bend it together. And we can't stop now. We have to beat Donald Trump's favorite lapdog, and his name is Darren Bailey, and he's running against Governor Pritzker and I. I heard a hiss. That's awesome. He apes the same backward and reactionary politics of his buddy in Washington, and he wants to see Illinois look more like Washington, D.C. But I know how we feel in this room, y'all. We're not giving Donald Trump 1 inch of Illinois, and we're sure as hell not letting Darren Bailey hand it over to him. Because Illinois is not theirs to take. It's ours to build. You see, the Trump administration, Darren Bailey, and the rest of the Illinois GOP have declared that they are against working people. They are against people of color, against immigrants, against LGBTQ plus folks, basically anybody who isn't them and looks like them. And they are counting on our apathy. They think we'll scroll our way through their attacks on everything that we hold dear. But they've clearly never met any of you. We are living proof that they are wrong. We're going to organize. We're going to fight every single day between now and Election Day. Because, folks, the pen is in our hands. We get to write the next chapter of our state, of our country, and of this century. We get to make sure that Illinois is a place where everyone can not just afford to survive, but to thrive. We get to build an Illinois where your rights are protected and respected, and where, most importantly, the circumstances of your birth determine only where you start and never where you finish. And how are we going to do it? We're going to do it with the shoe leather that's worked so well for us in the past. So let's get to work. Let's knock every door. Let's call every phone. Let's send my friend, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton of D.C. as our next U.S. Senator, as a trailblazer. And let's reelect the best governor in the nation, who has fought and won battles for 8 years to raise our wages, to lower our costs, and to fulfill that promise he made when he was running to put Illinois back on the side of working families. And speaking of that great man, it is now my honor to introduce my friend and the best governor this state has ever had, our soon-to-be re-elected governor, J.B. Pritzker.
Good morning, everyone. Let's give it up one more time for our next Lieutenant Governor, Christian Mitchell. what a delight it is to be here in Springfield and to spend the morning with so many inspiring leaders. And folks, Illinois Democrats are crushing it. How do I know? Because this is the largest attendance ever at the IDCCA brunch. To President Mark Gately and the entire IDCCA leadership team, thank you. Thank you for all that you do to drive collaboration and unity across our party. In large part, the people in this room have made Illinois a nationwide model for just how Democrats can win and then get big things done. And it's you who have helped elect our toughest fighters, like the newest dynamic duo in the U.S. Senate, our current U.S. Senator and soon-to-be senior Senator Tammy Duckworth, and my friend, our next great Senator, Juliana Stratton. But there is one person here without whom our success as a party could not have happened. The child of a Lithuanian immigrant, son of East St. Louis, a career that began at a meatpacking plant that produced a man who would one day become one of the most influential leaders ever to walk the halls of the United States Senate. Senator Dick Durbin. Senator Durbin has been a true champion for the people of Illinois, from the countless children and families that he's protected through his lifelong, truly lifelong fight for consumer safety, to the DACA immigrants who have long deserved a pathway to citizenship. To the smoke-free experience that we all now enjoy on commercial flights. And so much more. And as the Senate Minority Whip and the Judiciary Committee's Democratic leader, he has fought like hell to protect our civil rights and economic justice. Senator Durbin, your legacy has lifted up millions of Americans, not just Illinoisans, and your statesmanship has made us so proud to be from Illinois. On behalf of the citizens of this great state and the Democratic Party you have helped to build, we honor you for your outstanding public service. Let me share something that should shake all of us to our core. We are only 19 months into Donald Trump's second term. And what he and his MAGA Republicans are doing to this nation is disgraceful. Food assistance and health care are being decimated. Masked troops in unmarked cars are still arresting innocent black and brown citizens and legal residents, and they're still shooting mothers and abusing children. Emergency help to communities devastated by tornadoes and floods is being doled out to Republican states, but not Democratic ones. Oh, let me tell you more. Wars of choice are being waged, and U.S. soldiers are in combat and dying. And they're being mistreated on an aircraft carrier, perhaps all of them, by their own government. All in less than 2 years. It's reprehensible. By the way, this is the government that Darren Bailey rooted for. This is the vision that he and his Illinois Republicans want to impose on working families across Illinois. I think it's instructive for us to put side by side the two visions of Illinois. The one put forward by Darren Bailey, Donald Trump, and their Illinois Republican Party, and the one put forward by Democrats in Illinois. So let's do that. Trump and Bailey cheered on ICE agents when they invaded our cities and they killed innocent people. What did Illinois Democrats do? We flooded the streets to protect our neighbors and pushed ICE out. And while Trump and Bailey try to defund our public schools and privatize public education, what are Illinois Democrats doing? We lifted 8th grade reading and math scores to a new high. We got a 5th in the nation ranking for Illinois' K-12 education. We expanded preschool and we notched the highest high school graduation rate in Illinois history. While Trump and Illinois Republicans brought us a deadly war in Iran, high gas prices, and record U.S. oil company profits, what did Illinois Democrats do? We demanded that we end the war, that the big oil company CEOs stop profiteering and give back their ill-gotten booty to working families across this nation. And while Bailey and Trump are trying to deny women the right to an abortion, even if they've been victims of rape or incest, what are Illinois Democrats doing? We trusted women to make decisions about their own bodies. And we enshrined reproductive rights into the laws of the state of Illinois. When Bailey and Illinois Republicans supported tax breaks for big corporations and opposed raising the minimum wage, what did Illinois Democrats do? We gave paid leave to every worker. We nearly doubled the minimum wage. And we guaranteed your right to organize a union to bargain for better wages. And while Darren Bailey and Donald Trump opposed balanced budgets and took our fiscal standing into the gutter, what did Illinois Democrats do? We've balanced the budget 8 times in a row, earned 10 credit upgrades, and have grown the economy to over $1.2 trillion. That's what Democrats do. And while Republicans make life less affordable, Democrats deliver for you. And that's why Democrats are winning all across this great state. McLean County Democrats have taken control of the county board for the first time in history. Democrats in DuPage and Lake and Kane counties turned what was traditionally a red wall into a blue barricade for the first time in modern history. Democrats are winning in Peoria and Champaign and Carbondale and Belleville, and all of it is happening because of the hard work of the people in this room. You organized, you recruited candidates, you showed up, you demanded better, and you won. Now, the work isn't over. We've got to keep fighting in places where it's toughest and defending the hard-won progress that we've made. And we've got to keep delivering real results for the people of our state, because Illinois Democrats, we know what's possible when we focus on working families, on the middle class, on the most vulnerable. These days, it seems like the pundits and the naysayers want to stay in an endless loop of debate about the future of the Democratic Party to draw false and rigid divisions and paint a picture of fractured coalitions. If there's a divide in the national Democratic Party that exists, it's the one between Team Fight and Team Tave. And in Illinois, we've made our choice. We're on Team Fight. Which team are we on? That's right. So, Illinois Democrats, I have just one question for you. Are you ready for the fight? Are you ready for the fight? I am too. Let's go get them, everybody. Thank you.
Please welcome a fighter for America, the senior senator from the state of Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren.
Hello, Illinois. Oh, wow. It is so good to be here with all of you. And it is great to be here in Springfield with your governor, J.B. Pritzker. You know, I just want to tell you partly why I'm here. I am here to show respect. 2 days after Donald Trump was elected president for the second time, when Democrats all across the country were knocked back on their fannies and they're scrambling to try to figure out what to do, when a lot of folks were running for cover, when freedom and dignity and respect for millions of people seemed to hang by a thread, J.B. Pritzker stood up and delivered a message directly to Donald Trump. He said, if you come for my people, you come through me. And I thought, that is leadership. You know, J.B. Pritzker was showing some old school loyalty to the people of Illinois and showing that Democrats, or at least some Democrats, don't back down from bullies. So, respect, Governor. You know, it is fashionable these days to say you're a fighter. I get that. And let's be honest, for some people, it's just a show. Maybe even a distraction from the fact that, given the choice, they'd prefer not to rock the boat. But JB is a governor with a backbone, a fighter who is willing to throw a punch if it's needed to get things done. JB is determined to make life better for working people. Go JB. And he's got the receipts to prove it. JB put Illinois on a path to universal pre-K. I am so jealous. JB cracked down on giant corporations taking advantage of people. JB signed the laws to protect the people of Illinois from crypto scams. And JB fights every day to put money back in your pocket. Can I just hear it for the ban on junk fees? Okay, and also the crypto ban. Woo-hoo. So thank you, Governor, for inviting me here today, and thank you for all your work on behalf of the people of Illinois. I also want to give a very special shout out to your next Lieutenant Governor, Christian Mitchell. Way to go, Christian. Christian has spent his entire life fighting for a fairer Illinois, a community organizer in the Illinois House, as deputy governor. Illinois' next generation of leaders is hard at work, and Christian is leading the way. It's great to see other leaders, other fighters in the room today, and I'm looking for you, Senator Tammy Duckworth. There you are. You all get to see Tammy at home, but I get to watch Tammy up close and personal in the United States Senate. No senator has a stronger voice for our nation's veterans. She has been, most recently, demanding better treatment of our sailors aboard the Abraham Lincoln, pushing hard for an end to Trump's war in Iran. Tammy, we're with you all the way. And that would be enough to make any senator proud. But there's another fight that Tammy has been in that just really takes some calling out. You may remember that President Trump promised to cover IVF for everyone, and now he and Pete Hegseth still haven't made IVF accessible so that military couples can have families. That is wrong. Tammy Duckworth is leading the fight to get this cruel policy reversed and to treat our military with the dignity and the respect they deserve. Tammy, we're with you in that fight, too. Thank you. And one of the main reasons I wanted to be here was just to take a moment to talk about your senior senator, Senator Dick Durbin. Now, I have known Senator Durbin since my previous life when I was a law professor. And I was spending my time ringing the alarm about how families were hanging on by their fingernails. My home state senator at the time, Ted Kennedy, had heard about my work, and so he invites me to come speak to Senate Democrats. They're having a Senate Democratic retreat. And would I come and speak? And I said, sure. Now, you have to understand, I didn't get invited very often to talk to United States senators. Not often. That is polite code for never. I spent my time on teaching and research and numbers and spreadsheets and interviewing people, not on politics. But I figured I'm going to go talk to the Democratic senators. I'm never going to get another chance like this. So I worked on my presentation for weeks. I had charts. I had graphs. I was ready to go, because obviously that's what persuades people. And, okay, I was a little green at this. So I traveled down from Boston. I get in this room. It's nothing but senators, small room, nothing but senators, Democratic senators. And I gave those senators everything I had. I mean, I wound up, I explained credit card scams and the cost of child care and how people were getting cheated on mortgages. I had charts on how families were being pushed into bankruptcy over health care costs. I laid into it. I showed how people with power were hurting American families and how America's once solid middle class was hurtling toward disaster, I say. Okay, I was very worked up. It was all true, but man, I was really into it. And I get to the end, and the senators, there's just dead silence in the room. People are like, whoa. And one by one, they just kind of backed out the door. They just quietly moved away. So I thought, well, I told them anyway. So I put my papers together. And I did wonder, maybe I'd come on a little strong. And then one senator stayed behind, Dick Durbin, and he walked over and he said, "This is bad. How can I help?" A room full of senators. A room full of senators and everybody else out at the snack table, but Dick Durbin stayed to ask, "How can I help?" And that's what he did. And for the next 25 years, Dick and I fought one battle after another. We were always against the CEOs and their army of lawyers and lobbyists. We were always fighting the Republicans, and I'll be frank, half the time we were fighting the Democrats as well. We lost some battles. Don't ask me about them because they are still painful. It still hurts. But we won some, too. Dick Durbin was the original sponsor of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Let's hear it from the CFPB. He fought to make that agency happen, and I will forever be grateful. Thank you, Dick. And that's how I think of Dick Durbin. Year after year, Dick has done the quiet work to try to level the playing field for working families. No fanfare, just the hard blocking and tackling to try to keep Wall Street and special interests from taking over the United States Congress. Thank you for that work, Dick. We're going to miss you in the United States Senate. You know, Illinois holds a very special place in America right now. You all are the ones who have made it clear that when the Trump administration attacks America's families, Illinois will fight back. Makes you special. And we need that now more than ever, because these are not normal times. We are fighting Republicans on two fronts, cost and corruption. Now, when he ran for president, Donald Trump promised he would lower costs on day one. That was his phrase. Do you remember that? Said it every day. He would lower costs on day one. It is now day 569, and costs are up. Help me here. The cost of groceries, up. The cost of housing, the cost of utilities, the cost of health care, the cost of gasoline, the cost of pretty much everything you need to buy. Up, up, up. You know, and at the same time that the costs are going up, the Trump administration puts the capital C in corruption. Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in American history. Those are just the facts. And I'll just pick a few. $1.4 billion in crypto scams, selling access to insider information at $100,000 a pop, a $400 million jet from Qatar. It is a long, long, long list. Even the Wall Street Journal, the damned Wall Street Journal, calls Donald Trump the most corrupt president in history. And they're not saying it like they think it's a good thing. Today, I just want to take 1 minute to draw a straight line between those high costs and Trump's corruption. Let me start with something you may not have seen, because this is part of the problem. I mentioned the highlight reels, right, that lots of people have seen. But here's what's going on, and that is one of the thousands of deals that floats by in the Trump river of sewage. Any of you hear of Capital One? Oh, some of you have Capital One credit cards, right? Let me tell you a little something about Capital One. 7th biggest bank in America. A lot of you have cards. If you don't have cards, I guarantee somebody in your family does, one of your neighbors does, somebody you work with. So back when the CFPB was still allowed to do its job, the CFPB caught Cap One cheating their customers on interest rate calculations. Nice move. Cap One admitted it. They said, yeah, okay, you caught us. So the CFPB worked out a settlement with Cap One, and the idea was the bank is going to return the money they stole from their customers. The position of the CFPB, by the way, was you had their names and addresses to cheat them. You also have their names and addresses to give them the money back. That's how the CFPB operated. So Cap One, they work it all out. Cap One signs the paper saying, yeah, we're going to do this, known as the settlement. All done. Want to know how much it was? $2.2 billion. It's a lot of money to steal. So they agreed in writing they're going to give it back. And then Donald Trump got elected. So Cap One calls their friends in the White House, makes contributions to Trump, and then a magical thing happens. The settlement disappears. Poof. Cap One kept $2.2 billion, and everybody in America who got cheated got nothing. I am in this fight because it is time to put a stop to this open corruption. Families should be getting their money back. Corruption is wrong, and corruption costs you money. Tariffs, a forever war, Trump's crypto scam. It is corrupt, and it is costing the people of Illinois real money. Our job as Democrats is to lower the costs and to end this corruption right now. And let's just do a little finger pointing for a minute, because with Republican majorities in the House and the Senate, Republicans in Congress could put an end to this corruption right now. But where are those Republicans? Are they speaking out? Nah. You know, there's been a medical emergency in the Republican Party. Almost every one of the Republicans in Congress has lost their spine. All they can do is bow down to Donald Trump. So yeah, in Washington things are pretty bad. And we can whimper, we can whine, or we can fight back. Me, I'm fighting back. Illinois, are you ready to fight back? Oh, let me hear it. Are you ready to fight back against the corruption? Are you ready to fight back against the higher costs? Are you ready to win the midterms, our chance to fight back? There it is. People ask me how I have the energy to get up every day and get in the fight, and my answer is Illinois Democrats. You bet. You give me hope. And one of the biggest reasons, she's right here in this room. Your Lieutenant Governor and your future Senator, Juliana Stratton. This is real hope for what comes next. I love Juliana, and not just because she has a persist tattoo. Ask her about it. It's pretty awesome. I was so proud to endorse Juliana, proud to support her campaign, proud to see her stand up to crypto and AIPAC and corporate PACs, and proud to see that Illinois is ready to send a strong fighter to the United States Senate. Juliana is a fighter with a vision for our future. Juliana is determined to bring in working people, determined to take on corporate powers that want to rig the system, determined to make government work, not just for a handful at the top, but to make government work for everyone. That's Juliana. Okay, so here's the deal as we think about going forward. As much of a heavy hitter as Juliana is, and Tammy, and as fast as I can run in yoga pants, yes, I am wearing yoga pants to your fancy event. Always got to be ready to move. We need a full bench to take on Trump and the Republicans. We need a strong Democratic Party. Yeah. So let's talk just within the family for a minute here. I recently put $1 million into state Democratic parties. $1 million to help Democrats win. And today I'm announcing, this is breaking news, I'm contributing another $500,000 to elect Democrats in November up and down the ballot. Money into electing a Democratic majority in the Senate, $300,000 to the Senate Democratic Campaign Arm, the DSCC. Now look, I haven't been shy about my criticism of the DSCC meddling in competitive primaries. I think it's wrong for the DS to put a thumb on the scale when Democrats are choosing their nominee. I think it's wrong to line up with big money to drown out grassroots candidates. Wrong, and it weakens us. But I know our job now. Democrats must win the Senate, and I am 100% behind our Democratic nominees everywhere, and I am 100% behind getting them the resources they need to win with. Yep. I'm also sending another $200,000 to the DCCC to help Democrats win the majority in the House. House and Senate, who's ready for Democrats to take over Congress? Me too. And while we're still just talking family here, I'm also sending $100,000 to the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. It is time to stop the hand-wringing and to invest in a key part of our democratic infrastructure. And I am asking others to join me and do the same. So there it is. State candidates, House candidates, Senate candidates, our party, the Democratic Party. Let's be clear-eyed. This midterm is crucial. Democrats must win back power and must put a check on Trump. We must win. So everybody here, take a deep breath and buckle up for the fight ahead. Costs and corruption, costs and corruption. Are you ready for that fight? You ready for that fight? Yeah, all right. I talk about money today because we know we will be outspent by the Republicans' money machine. Outspent by the crypto PACs and big oil and big pharma and big banks. But we also know we don't have to match the Republicans dollar for dollar. We just need enough money to keep our team on the field. And the money I'm talking about today is the money for people like you, the money for the people in this room. It's the money for the organizers, for the phone bankers, for the door knockers. It's about investing in people, investing in these competitive elections. This is how Democrats win. The fight ahead is going to require us to get serious about organizing, to take our A game and double down on it again and again, to wake up each day with the strength to knock on more doors, to make more calls, to talk to our neighbors, and to build the people power we need to win the next election. It is a tough fight, but it is a righteous fight. Things will get tough, and by golly, they will get tough. Republican attacks, oh, they will get ugly. And Trump will do his best to just keep throwing dirt in our eyes. But nevertheless, we will persist. "76 days, 76 days, 76 days until the midterms. Are you in this fight? Oh, are you in this fight? Are you determined to win this fight? With Illinois, we're going to get this done. Thank you, Illinois, for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage United States Senator Tammy Duckworth.
All right. Hey, everyone. Look at this crowd. Let me start off by asking our veterans and currently serving service members to please stand up and be recognized for your service to this nation. Now the military families, if you have someone who's serving, stand up and be recognized as military families serve also. Thank you. Every election year, we know that Democrats' victory nationwide runs through Illinois, runs through the Midwest, and we all know too well what we're up against this cycle. Because Republicans are working day and night trying to convince Americans that things are not nearly as bad as they are, but we know better. But Republicans, whether it is Bailey or Trump or anywhere else, are going to manipulate, lie, and gaslight. They're going to keep trying to tell people not to believe their own eyes at the grocery store, at the gas pump, or even at their dinner table when it's time to go over the bills for next month. But the American people will not be fooled. We are not better off. We are not better off while Donald Trump and Republicans betray every single promise they've made on the campaign trail. We are not better off while they find new and increasingly cruel ways to hurt our country, making America great for billionaires and making it clear to everyone else that they're on their own. Well, that's not how we do things in Illinois. And I want to thank every single person in this room for everything you do to fight for families that Trump has too often tossed aside. Let me tell you something. I cannot wait to get back into the majority because I am fucking tired of fixing things that Republicans break. I want us to take the majority in Washington, in the House, and in the Senate the way we took the majority here in Illinois and show you what can happen when Democrats take charge. I want to pass Reproductive Choice Act. I want to pass Voting Rights Act. I want to pass Equality Act. I want to make sure that we pass central gun legislation at the federal level. It is time. And I'm not going to be nice about it. I'm going to steamroll them the way they've steamrolled over us. And let me tell you, the path forward is through Illinois. Our state is a shining beacon of hope that showcases what Democrats can deliver for the middle class. And one of the major reasons that that is possible is because of Dick Durbin and Loretta Durbin for the work that they've done to build the bench here in Illinois. Because without them, we would not have control of the state house or the state senate. Without Speaker Welch, without President Harmon, we would not be able to have passed a legislation to support our governor and the work that he's done to put this state back on the right track. I am proud to be one of Dick Durbin's recruits. I am forever grateful that he found this wounded soldier at Walter Reed just 12 weeks after my shootdown, made the grave error of giving me his personal cell phone number and saying, if you need any help, call me. So I did. I abused that privilege. And I called him and told him about the private in Texas who had not been paid for 6 months because he was unconscious in a coma. I called Dick Durbin and told him about another soldier who couldn't get both his mom and his wife there to the hospital to take care of him because the Army would only pay for one close family member to show up. I called Dick Durbin and told him about the fact that families were having to sleep on the floor of the intensive care unit waiting room for weeks at a time because there was no place to house family members who wanted to be there to take care of their servicemen and women. Dick Durbin became the unofficial ombudsman for Walter Reed, and he took care of everybody regardless of what state they came from. Dick is and always will be a lion of the United States Senate. He has dedicated his life to making our state and our country stronger, and we are all the better for it. And while I will miss working closely with Dick, I know that he will continue to find ways to continue to serve this country and this state, and I still have his personal cell number. You're not allowed to change it, by the way. Thank you, my friend, for everything. Dick leaves enormous shoes to fill, but I look forward to keeping his enormous legacy alive alongside our great Governor, J.B. Pritzker, because we are going to continue to find fighters who will fight for America, who will look like America, and of course, ensuring that Illinois remains the blue wall here in the Midwest. But we are more than the blue wall. We are the rebar in that blue wall, because we know we've shown what good progressive politics and policies can do for a state. With our balanced budgets, protecting reproductive choice. You know what? There are women who get on buses in Texas and ride on a bus for 12 hours to come to Illinois to access IUDs because their doctors in Texas will not give it to them. They come to Illinois because our governor has made sure that we are a welcoming state for women who want to have the ability to make decisions about their own health care. Thank you, Governor. We are a safe state for immigrants. And Kwame, where are you, Kwame? If you're out there, I love your new slogan, don't toy with Illinois. If you want to put that on a T-shirt and say, don't fucking toy with Illinois, I will buy a dozen of them. Put it on a T-shirt, Kwame. Sell those T-shirts. Because we will protect our neighbors from the cruelty of ICE. We will stop them. People who are just working hard, trying to make a living and take care of their families, dreamers who want to stay here and live up to the American dream. We will protect those folks. Thank you, Kwame, not just for leading Illinois and protecting us, but the fact of the matter is Kwame has been there in the courts leading the Democratic Attorneys General organization in those fights on a nationwide basis. We in Illinois make sure that we will protect those who want to live with dignity and provide for their families. And I can't wait to get Juliana to the Senate to fight for Illinoisans and to make this administration accountable. Together, we're going to push back on their never-ending cruelty. We're going to make sure that we do things like put a public option on the health care exchange, Medicare buy-in for 50-year-olds and older. We're going to make sure that we pass legislation that will stop tearing families apart, and we're going to stop waging illegal wars that make America less safe. Every day, the Trump administration has manufactured a new crisis, a new threat to our safety, and it is exhausting to keep track of it. But our fight is more important than ever. The middle class is sick and tired of scraping by and footing the bill for Donald Trump's failures and incompetence. Now is the time to be bold and channel this outrage into action, because there is too much at stake for us to get discouraged. Our national security is on the line. Our economy is on the line. Our voting rights are on the line. Donald Trump and Republicans had made sure that Donald Trump will not stop pressuring Republicans, and Republicans will still not have been able to find their backbone to stand up to him. Well, we have backbones here in the Democratic Party, and we will stand up to him. The Republicans know that they've screwed over voters that they promised to help. They know that they put billionaires first, sorry, JB, and Americans last too many times. But that's a great thing about JB. He puts the middle class first. Republicans would not behave this way if they didn't think of the only way to win wasn't to just change the rules. But let me tell you, we've been able to stop them, and part of that is because of Dick Durbin. Let me tell you what Dick has done as chairman of Judiciary. He has seated 235 lifetime federal judges, 187 district court judges, 45 circuit court justices, 1 Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and 2 courts of international trade. We would not have the victories in the courts were it not for the judges that Dick Durbin seated. We need to continue that work. So let me tell you something. It's time to get back to work. County chairs, volunteers. Christian Mitchell started out as a volunteer in 2012 on my congressional campaign. And look how far he's come. We are going to continue to get out there in every corner of this state, and we're going to go across the river into Iowa and help Josh Turek win. We're going to go out there and let's flip the House, let's flip the Senate, let's keep our party strong, continue to grow that next generation. I thank you all for being here. We have a lot of hard work in front of us. Again, it's time to get up, time to fight, it's time to stand up not just for Illinois, but for this great nation that we love. And so, let's make sure that we don't let Republicans steamroll us again, because I want to leave tire tracks on the backs of those Republicans as we steamroll them. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining you. Thank you, Dick and Loretta, for your decades of service to this great nation. Thank you, JB. I'm with you every step of the way. Let's take this to the national level. Let's show the country what we do here in Illinois, we can do at the national level. This is what democratic policies are all about. And thank you to our members in labor. Thanks, everyone.
Please welcome to the stage the next senator from the great state of Illinois, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
How are you feeling, Illinois Democrats? I am so glad to be here with all of you. The energy in this room is electric, and it's going to carry us from now until November. There's nothing more powerful than this team when we're united, fired up, and ready to win. I want to thank President Mark Gately and the Illinois Democratic County Chairs Association for bringing us all together. This year, we are so fortunate to have Senator Elizabeth Warren with us. Senator Warren has been a champion for progress. I'm honored to call her a friend and a mentor, and I'm grateful that she stepped up early to ensure that I could stand before you today as your Democratic nominee for United States Senate. Over the past 7.5 years as Lieutenant Governor, I've been blessed to meet and serve alongside so many of you. But for those of you who might not know me, I want to share a brief story of how I got here. 10 years ago, after my mom Velma was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I became her primary caregiver. You know, I've always said that it was both the hardest thing that I've ever done and one of the greatest honors of my life to care for my mother in her final years. At the time, my state representative was working with Republicans to cut health care for seniors like my mom, and I got so angry that I literally yelled at the TV, somebody should run against that guy. And I didn't know it would be me. And I certainly didn't think that a short time later, a guy named J.B. Pritzker would ask me to be his running mate. You see, sometimes running for office isn't in your 5 or 10-year plan. It's often just something that makes you angry, and you decide to step up and do something about it. I knew that people like my mom deserved better. I knew there was a need in my community. I knew I didn't want my daughters to grow up in a world where we turn our backs on the people who need help most. That anger, frustration, and determination has led me to this moment. And 10 years later, the urgency cannot be overstated. Families across the country are being crushed under rising cost. Hardworking Americans are wondering how much further they'll have to stretch their paychecks. We're confronted each and every day with the fragility of our democracy, threats to voting rights, corruption, attacks on American cities and our immigrant communities, stripping away health care and food assistance from millions of Americans, the erosion of our fundamental rights, including our reproductive freedom. And as the strong women in this room know today, we don't need the government telling us what to do with our bodies because we trust women. In response to the chaos and the cruelty, I have watched you, Illinois Democrats. I've watched you take to the streets and boldly proclaim there are no kings in America, and we will never bow down to a wannabe dictator. You all know, just like I do, that the stakes have never been higher. And what we choose to do next will shape our nation for decades to come. But with so much on the line, leaders like the ones in this room have stepped up to stand in the gap, to demand better. Now, I know it hasn't been easy, but then again, Illinois doesn't do easy. And as all of us here today know, what comes next is up to us. Will we have the courage to fight for a future where everyone has a chance to succeed? Will we stand together to defend the promise of America? Will we let divisions tear us apart, or will we chart a better way forward? I know my choice, and I know yours too. When I look around this room, I see the fight and the fire, and yes, the rage. I see community leaders and organizers, our amazing county chairs, our volunteers, elected officials, public servants, people who wake up each and every day and answer the call to serve. I said it on this stage last year, and I'll say it again. Aren't we so lucky to live in Illinois? But you know what? It's not just luck. It's great leadership from courageous champions like Governor J.B. Pritzker and Senator Tammy Duckworth, and exemplified by our beloved senior senator, Dick Durbin. I am here today because Dick and Loretta Durbin believed in me. I'm a proud graduate of the Illinois Women's Institute for Leadership Training Academy, a grateful constituent, and a humble mentee. Like each of you, I'm in awe of the Durbin's legacy. It's a legacy of service, of resolve, dedication, and justice. of speaking up for every young person who dreams of a bigger and brighter future, a legacy of not just believing in the next generation of leaders, but giving them the tools to take the baton and run, a legacy of servant leadership in its truest form. Senator Durbin, Loretta, thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for this people of Illinois. And now it's up to all of us to uphold it together. Now is the time to link arms, to lean in, to dig deep. They are counting on us to feel hopeless, powerless, like we can't make a difference. But I want to wake up on November 4th knowing that we did everything we could. Democracy is built from the bottom up, and brick by brick, we will build it together. 76 days, Illinois Democrats. Let's go win this in November and show them how it's done in Illinois. Thank you all.
Hello, Illinois Democrats. I was a regular at this brunch back in the day, so I appreciate the invitation to say a few words about my dear friend, Dick Durbin. As you know, Dick is one of the finest senators in this country. Every Illinois voter has benefited from his vision, his judgment, and his commitment to working families. And Dick also happens to be one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. When you win an election, plenty of people reach out to congratulate you. But Dick is famous for writing notes to candidates who lost, urging them not to give up. I've been on the receiving end of that generosity more times than I can count. And like so many folks in this room, I would not have gotten nearly as far as I did without his support. So, Dick, thank you again for showing us what true leadership and true friendship looks like. Michelle and I wish you and Loretta the very best. And I hope all of you enjoy Governor's Day at the State Fair. Have a corn dog for me. Thanks, everybody.
Please welcome to the stage a true statesman and our senior senator, Dick Durbin.
Good to see you all. Thank you. Thank you. I've been sitting here listening to the wonderful words that have been spoken by so many people. And during the course of that, I remembered words spoken to me by a little girl in a cafeteria in a school in Chicago. You see, we had a press conference in the summer months to encourage the students to come back to school for lunch, free lunch, a good lunch, one that they needed. There I was with the television cameras making this plea while the kids were eating at a table. And after a minute, I thought to myself, Durbin, you've been around this business for a while. If you want to be on the Chicago television news tonight, ditch the cameras and go sit with the kids. So I walked over and sat down next to these children. The television cameras followed me. The kids stopped eating. One little girl said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Dick Durbin." She said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a United States Senator." She said, "Well, good for you." So when I see this gathering and all of the presentations that have been made by my friends, I first thank Mark Gately, Organized Labor, and a lot of the organizers. I get a lot more credit for this event than I deserve. The person who deserves the most credit is Bill Houlihan. Remember Bill in your thoughts and prayers. And also I want to thank our friends in Organized Labor who've stood by us. I want to thank my great staff that is gathered here today, Clara Duque, Kaylee Golson. He's not here, but Pat Suiters. They're the backbone of a great and effective staff. I, of course, want to thank the founder of I Will, a lady I've known for a number of years, Loretta. It works. I got to this point in my life partially by accident. I was an intern in the office of a U.S. Senator named Paul Douglas, the first really exposure I ever had to politics. He was a wonderful inspiration, and it really was the most ethical senator I've ever read about or heard about. He mentioned to me that during the course of his campaign, I should go down to West Frankfort, Illinois. Anybody here from West Frankfort? Hey! And keep an eye out for a state senator. Couldn't miss him. He was wearing horn-rimmed glasses and had a bow tie. His name was Paul Simon. In just a very short period of time, I struck up a friendship with Paul, and he offered me, when he was elected lieutenant governor, my first job out of law school, to be parliamentarian of the Illinois State Senate. I had no idea what that was, but I desperately needed that paycheck. So I studied up on it and drove a U-Haul truck back from Washington to Springfield. Loretta was on the plane with our baby, and we started our life here in this town. It's been a wonderful experience. For me, politics is in my bloodstream, and as Morris Udall once said, if you have politics in your bloodstream, only embalming fluid will replace it. He's exactly right. I met some wonderful people along the way. I lost 3 straight elections. I don't recommend that. And each time Paul Simon would lift me up, dust me off, and say, let's go get him again. I want to acknowledge his daughter, Sheila Simon, and Perry. Welcome to Springfield. Great family. A lot has been said about a lot of people, but I want to mention 2 or 3. Tammy Duckworth. God bless Tammy Duckworth. Tammy came literally rolling into my office one night to go to the State of the Union address, and I met her and her husband Brian, both members of the Illinois National Guard, and I was swept away. I caught her at a weak moment. She thinks she was on meds, and I asked her if she'd run for office. And she said she would. Her first race, like my first race, wasn't successful, but the next one was. And eventually I have her by my side as my colleague and partner in the Senate. I'm the luckiest senator of the other 99 who serve, because I've got the best and strongest possible partner. Make sure as senior senator you give her all the support you can. And how about Elizabeth Warren? Isn't she something? Are you surprised? Are you surprised to know when the Democratic senators have a serious conversation about any deep and challenging subject, she is always the first person who's invited? Absolutely. She's so damn smart. She's that law school professor whose course you just have to take even if you're not going to get a good grade, because you don't want to miss that opportunity. I'm blessed to call her my colleague and friend, and I thank her for her kind comments. She's the best. Juliana, they're waiting for you in Washington. In just a few months, if we do our work here, you'll be joining them. I know the origin of your political adventure started with your family, of course, and your dad and his inspiration, but also with a group called I Will. and you were one of the early classes and one of the star pupils who graduated from the I Will program. State Representative, Lieutenant Governor, and now my successor as United States Senator. You're going to be great. I want to mention a topic because my buddy and friend, the greatest president of my lifetime, was kind enough to come up with these words of encouragement and recognition today. Last week, our family visited the Obama Center in Chicago. Put it on your list of absolute mandatory things you have to do. And I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because it not only tells you the history of the Obama administration, and it's a wonderful history, it will restore your faith in the future and our government. After all we have been through with this orange-haired president, after all we have seen in almost 6 years of his administration, where he has appealed to fear and hate across America, it is refreshing to remember the Obama years, when our theme was hope, confidence, and the motto, yes, we can. He did things which made difference in people's lives. I introduced the DREAM Act in the Senate 25 years ago. I've been able to pass it in the Senate, not the House, in the House and not the Senate. And I finally, in frustration, appealed to President Obama personally. I called him and said, is there anything you can do? I can't pass this law, but I hope that you can do something by executive order. He said he'd work on it. A year later, he contacted me and said, we have a program called DACA. And DACA will say, if you were brought to the United States as a child, your parents made the decision to come, and they didn't file the papers they should have, and you were undocumented, you will have a chance to work in the United States legally, and you won't be deported. You have to go through a criminal background check every 2 years. You have to pay a $600 fee every 2 years, but you're able to work and pursue the future. That's the DACA program. It started with the DREAM Act. Do you know, can you guess how many young people signed up for that? 835,000. 835,000. When we had the sign-up day at Navy Pier, Congressman Gutierrez and I, we expected 500 people. We had volunteer attorneys there to help them sign up the papers to go into DACA. 15,000 showed up. They started gathering at midnight before, parents and their kids, to register for Obama's DACA program. And they did it. And I will tell you, more than one of them came up to me and to Clarasol. And they said something which breaks my heart now to share with you. They said, Senator, we are turning ourselves into this government. We are telling this government that we are undocumented. We have lived a life of silence, begged our kids never to tell anybody that we weren't documented, and now we're giving the government the information. Are we safe in this country to do this? I said, if you follow the law in America, we have always said we will stand by you. I believe that until this president. He is now pursuing these DACA kids to deport them with the information they filed with the government. That is just plain wrong. That is unjust and it's un-American. So I appeal to you, when we see these ICE agents tearing people's lives apart and literally killing them in the streets of America, we've got to stand up and speak up. Immigration is part of this country. My mother was an immigrant to this country, and I'm damn proud of it. Immigrants have been a part of our nation from the beginning, and they will be in the future. I've appealed to my colleagues in the Senate to carry on the fight, and I know they will. Counting on you, Juliana, to join them in that effort. I think it'll make a big difference in our future. The day will come when this is behind us, and that day is 76 days away, when we have a chance to make an impact on an election. Let us stand up, speak up, vote, organize, and bring together the voters of the state for the right reason. Let me conclude by saying a lot more I could talk about, but you've been very patient sitting there so far this morning. It's been the honor of my life to be a kid coming out of East St. Louis. Yesterday, I went down to the house I grew up in East St. Louis, 484 North 29th Street. It's been abandoned for 4 years, but the front door was open. And so I got to walk through the house where, as a little kid, I grew up. If you ever have that experience, you'll be amazed how small everything is. But it reminded me of my roots, of a working family, a labor family, a family that had immigrant roots, who did their best to make a living for 3 kids, gave me a fighting chance to be educated and have lifetime opportunities that are just unimaginable. You have been the key to that. Your support through your votes and efforts have given me a chance to serve. I have tried to return the favor, to make sure I look back on that ladder and help somebody up behind me. That is the future of our party, and we've got to remember it at every possible level. Loretta and I are honored to be with you today. We will be in the future. The next time I'll be sitting out there in your chair saying, how long is this thing going to go? The good news is I think I'm the last speaker. Thank you so much.
Senator, we've prepared a few things. We're not quite done yet, so come here and watch the video. Come over here. Come over by me. There's going to be a video.
Dick Durbin will make a great United States Senator, but that necktie will have to go.
Dick Durbin for the United States Senate.
Your dear friend and mentor of mine and yours, Paul Simon, be very proud of the service that you've provided the state of Illinois and the work that you've done. Countless times, time and time again, you've reached out and tried to help every community when struggle or weather or economic hard times, it didn't matter. If people were in need, you were there.
Thank you for all you've done for decades, for our state, for this great nation. We would not be here without you, and just, I can't say enough from the bottom of my heart. I just think you're the best person in the whole world, and thank you.
Illinois is better because you served us. America is better because you served us, and I am better because you believed in me. You taught me that public service is about doing the work, treating people with dignity, and sticking with the difficult things long after the cameras have left and the applause have stopped. Thank you, Senator Durbin.
Senator Durbin has been in every county in the state of Illinois. Thank you, Senator Durbin, for everything that you've done to support our organization. And Senator Durbin, as far as I'm concerned, you're the best senator in the country.
Senator Durbin has always used his extensive connections to help grow iWill's network, introducing the organization to new partners and supporters who continue to strengthen and improve the program. We are forever grateful. We wish you, Loretta, and the entire Durbin family all the best
in this fight to pass comprehensive criminal justice reform. Dick Durbin had been working on these issues for years and years. America is a better place because of your extraordinary leadership.
Thank you, Senator Durbin, for your years of service, but also being an ally to so many women electeds coming up here in Illinois. I hope you enjoy your next stage, your next chapter, and we just appreciate everything you've done here in our state.
Both his parents were union members, and Senator Durbin has never forgotten where he came from.
Let me tell you about the Durbins of East St. Louis, Illinois. We were Catholics, members of unions. We ate fried chicken after church on Sunday, drove Ford automobiles, and we were Democrats. I learned that lesson from my family early on, and thank God I did. Probably the most important lesson that they taught me, the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Our party is a party of hope, determination, fairness, and respect for the law and Constitution. I tell you, I'll never forget this party, this state, and what you've meant to my life. It really has made a difference, and I hope I have too. Thank you all.
Senator Durbin, for all the work you've done for the Democratic Party, on behalf of the Chairs Association, I present you our Party Building Award. From this point on, it's going to be called the Dick Durbin Party Builder Award.
Thanks, everybody.